Okay, everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm here with Richie. I'm in an undisclosed location in County Laois, beside the Grand Canal. Is it, Richie? Yeah. Myself and Richie here have just done a 5k walk along the banks of the canal. It's a beautiful afternoon, and I'm just here in Richie's back kitchen eating his homemade bread. Richie, thanks for doing this.
No matter.
It's easy to forget what happened, and I suppose what sticks out in your head from, I suppose, that March weekend when the restrictions came in, or what was your own way of processing those 2 years?
Well, I went and got a dozen hens and a rooster. First thing, I was on high alert, to be honest with you. I was expecting something to come, and so yeah, I knew that early on in the year that there was something coming, and I'm just like an awkward fucker anyway. So as soon as they started anything that comes on the media, and they were starting to talk about it, I was going, "It's bullshit." But everybody was like getting terrified except for my wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I just went and got soil, truckloads of soil. Had my son, my oldest son was living here at the time. He was just back from England, and Groningen, is it? Groningen, yeah. And he had a girlfriend, and she couldn't travel then, right?
So she was
now,
stuck
I'm not
here.
sure if that was early 2020 when it was somewhere in that, because it was probably in the summer, because I had them out taking the soil off the truck, like
Okay.
I was running down making the hen house. Like this was like, from morning to night was like, are we ready? We're getting ready for this. And like, so the apocalypse, or the end of something, they're coming for me. So like I'm like a recluse now at this stage, right? But back then, even like the kids used to call me the compound man, because like, are you coming out? Like, go for me, and I'm fucking going out there. I didn't want to go out to people, no interest in them at that stage anyway. But then I said, no, I'm going shopping, so no one will come with me, like, right? Because I wouldn't wear a mask. So into Tesco's I go, and so it's grand. Everyone's looking at me, jumping out the fucking way, all that kind of stuff, right? And here's this little 5'7" cunt, and he's walking up the aisles, and the lad will be coming down, and you can picture the guys now in their short big lads now, right? They have given themselves a few of the jabs, like of the steroids. So they're walking around like women in their shorts, like showing off their muscles, like, and their arms out to here and fucking big mask on their face. And to see this little fella coming down, scruffy, like, and they jump, like, and they were gone. They would go up the other lane and whatever, like, and they'd be like a bird, and you'd size her up apart from the mask, like, and you'd say, I'm not sure she's a good looking bird. Like, she must have been mortified, like, that here's this, big lad, and he's running away, like, from a little fella. But there was the shopping was the most interesting for me.
Did you find that stressful?
Yeah. Right. So I had every time I went, right. So I went at least, I think it was twice a week, but I definitely done a big shop on a Sunday. Now I was spending 300 quid on shopping. Like I bought 100 kilos of flour over there. Like, and the glass house and every fucking thing else. Like I was fully prepared for the rest of the world to just go away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And make this place invisible. Like so. But
and it is pretty invisible, to be fair. Like, do you know what I mean?
No, it is. Yeah. Good job. But no, going into the shop. So from here, I found the song right on a CD. U2, and if you play it, I think you'll get it if you just like. I don't listen to the words really. It was "Love Rescue Me," right?
Okay.
Right, and it's a long song, so it got me from here to Tesco's in Kildare, right? But it got all the anger out, right? So sometimes, it depends on how you're feeling, right? Like, say, right, so the guards would be there sometimes, like, outside or whatever. So, like, don't blow your fuse, you're going to get arrested. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Take your time. It's emotional. It's okay.
Right. So, anyway, Um, so yeah, so that happens, as you know. Just like where the fuck, you know. So
Yeah.
so the truth comes out, like
Yeah,
in that.
yeah.
So yeah, so I play that at full blow blast, right? And now I'm like John fucking Waters. I've one deaf ear, like mostly from grinding. In fairness, but I'd have it like to where it'd nearly be piercing my ears, and it would get rid of the rage, right? So by the time I get to the car park, if it wasn't finished, I'd sit in it, and the truck could be like, boom, right? And I don't listen to anything else now, so it was just that song, and it got me over the bump, like so so I get out of the truck and. Get me fucking trolley and step up towards the door and to be queuing, right, with the masks on.
That's right, yeah.
And they had this computer thing at the door, right? I don't know, 6 foot, 7 foot tall, and it would go green and go red, and it would talk, right, like your car, that same American type of voice, right? But I'd walk past the guys queuing and walk straight in, like when it's red, because they'd be stopped, like, and I'd scream at it, fuck off, to the machine, right? And everybody would be looking like, this fucking hell is going on, right? Then I'd be going up the escalator, smiling to myself, and now I don't make eye contact with people because you don't want to like be doing that, but to be coming down the elevator and there's this guy with no mask on, and they'd be looking at you like, but there's a gap, you know. Plus they're terrified to fucking go near you. Do you know what I mean? Because they can't beat you up because they get infected. Do you know what I mean? Right? So anyway, they're coming down and I'm looking at them and I'm just smiling like all the time going up. And all the staff that used to know me didn't talk to me. Right? One woman actually wouldn't serve me, right? Because I wouldn't wear a mask. So I'd go on and do my fucking apocalypse shop. Like, I think I'm allergic to fucking white bread. So I'm off bread, but I'm still making it.
You're an excellent bread maker. I've just tasted 3 slices of it.
It's fucking lovely bread, but I don't know what it is, but I'm off it for a while anyway. But and then like one man met me in the toilet roll section, would you believe? Right? And he pushed his trolley onto my trolley and goes, "Where's your mask?" And I says, "What's it got to do with you?" And he came closer. I thought I was like, going to get into. He says, "I don't want to get sick." And he says, "Go fuck off away from me real quick, so." And because he would have got sick. He would have got boxed in the fucking throat. That's what he would have got. And I know that sounds real vicious, but that's where I was at. Like, I was. The noise of the music was to actually take that shit out of me, like, because I was going to get in trouble. Because I know, I could see what was happening. I can see what's happening now. It hasn't stopped. Like the same thing. Like, and there's a big void coming in people. A void or whatever, devoid, and like people that have been trying to kind of hold on to. I have to say good luck. Like, I just have no choice. And one in particular that rang me, I told you about this morning, and he's screaming at me about the poor riff of fucking G's, you know. And like accusing me of being the same when I went to England in the 80s, right? Like, he was talking about his brother and his brother was a scumbag and other scumbags who went to Chalk Hill, like, they went and lived in squats and fucking around the door or whatever. I went over with a week's wages, and after 3 days with no job, I was nearly fucking crying. I had a job on the 5th day. Do you know what I mean? And I saved enough money to come home then in 1990 and start my own fucking business. Then going through the checkpoints, I went over to Newbridge one day with the passenger seat full of strawberry plants for my nieces. Your man asked me, like, "Where are you going?" Like, I said, "Going to work." "Have you got a fucking note or you had to get something signed?" So don't. And he kind of looked at me and he said, "This is going to be too much trouble." And I went in and out 4 times. I was looking for trouble, like, it was getting to a point. But I became a gardener then, like, 4 years on, like, I have a glass house full of fucking stuff and an outdoor kitchen and
so that rage, like, that sounds like there was.
My soul was fucking crying, like, how could our people be so fucking stupid? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they abandoned their families.
That was the thing. That and now that didn't happen. Fortunately, I grew up in a house where we were always arguing
Oh,
about anything. In fact, they used to always say about my mother's family, if you wanted to confuse a Nocton, all you had to do was agree with them. That kind of way.
yeah.
So, but I remember running that event in Doon, the first one, just after the lockdowns, and there was some speaker talking about censorship historically, or was something like that, but there was questions afterwards, and the questions weren't really about what the woman was talking about. It was about all this emotion was coming out about just exactly what you said. Families being split up and more friends, but like it had some effect on some people's families. Was that your experience in your family?
Yeah. Right. Uh, so I had in my first marriage, I had two lads, two great lads, right? And then my second marriage, I adopted another one. It was another great lad, right? Three great guys, great workers, everything else. But when I separated from my first wife, I started in the house over there. Like I built an outside camp area, right? Big huge logs around an open fire and everything else. And I got my brothers and sisters' kids, say once a month, down camping. Taught them how to make s'mores and all that kind of stuff, and play with fire and all that kind of, trying to get them into nature, like. And they all wanted. Well, I didn't know any of my related cousins, right? So the idea was to get the tribe together at a young age, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I did, and then as they got to the age where they were able to have a drink, my sister in Waterford decided to like have it down there, and I said, "Wow, it takes fucking pressure off me because I'd have to have a chaperone. I'd always have my sister here, right? You know what I mean? Just the way I am, quirky that way, but." So having it down there, and so it was down there, and they were like 30 now, like, and down to 26. I got uninvited. No, not my wife, but I did, and they all abandoned me, right?
And this is over COVID.
Oh yeah, this was the COVID. Yeah, this was like the scumbag is going into the shops, and I got fucked out petrol stations. I got I'd only get served outside the hardware, electrical store, the plumbing, and Bradshaw's the mechanical store, right, which I'd use regularly, and it served me outside, like, and so it was everywhere. But yeah, I got uninvited to that, and
Well, did they formally do it, or did it?
oh yeah.
Like, was it like?
Text, like. Oh no, the
Like, I mean, your family.
Oh yeah, sent me a text, yeah, and no one stood up for it, right? Now, when I fought out with them, like, I mean, I send a card out in the mornings, like, and they all get one, like, and we want, like, so, like, there be would have been growing up rivalries there anyway, say a sister or a brother or whatever, like, it's, their family is family, like, but yeah, so I haven't gone since.
Have you Have you spoken to them, or have?
Oh yeah.
Is it is it a subject that's left unsaid or no?
I haven't spoken about that, no. But like, it drove a real wedge now between myself and my oldest son, and like to the point that like he was here with that girl from America. They were here for 4 months, like, before she could fly out.
And that was during COVID. Like, that was the
that
early
was
period.
lockdown,
Yeah.
And then he I don't know what turned him, like, but like I started to send them stuff, right?
Yeah.
Earlier than anybody else.
Yeah.
And like he's 11 years in college, like, so, like, and no, that was it. and I was frying his head, and I'm lucky he didn't block me. Right, but we can't converse. Like the first Christmas we did meet, my sisters, I shook hands. Like, I mean,
Yeah, it's difficult. It's emotional. You can feel it.
yeah. So, but the rest of them, like, they're like some of them have come around, like the younger one, the two younger sisters, and even say my first wife. But that's not about the COVID. Like, that's about the mass influx of refugees. Like, right. So that's a different story. But it's not, because it's.
Well, they got into a pattern of obeying. How would you say it? Obeying something unquestioningly, and it's almost like everything that's been thrown out at themselves, they have the same reaction, even though they have a different internal feeling. They probably believed in COVID,
Yeah.
They probably believed most of the stuff. But I think most of them, this is why I'm fascinated, is I think most people know they were conned, but are unable to admit it to themselves in a certain way.
Yeah, no, I think now with the split that's coming now, like in fairness, like, so there's one sister that didn't get any, right? This is my youngest, right? The second youngest got one, and regretted it. And my youngest son didn't get any. My second youngest son was in Australia now. Got one because he was out shagging, right? And he needed to get out, like we were in Dublin, like. That's great, my grandchildren. But and my oldest got like 7 or 8. He's still probably getting them, like. But because of the work he's in, like, right? He's a doctor, like, just qualified. So then the rest of them did, like, right. So it's not the younger two. It's one younger than me, and then the two of the others, right? Like, wouldn't piss on me if I was on fire, to be honest, at this stage. But that's also coming from a different. There's eight in the family, and
there's more to it than COVID.
Absolutely, yeah. It's expected of me to go off the track, So.
Well, I think we're all that person in the, like, it seems that it's like common enough. We're all that person in our families.
Exactly. So like, I'm a risk taker, I suppose.
I want to just ask you a question, because you mentioned about that U2 song and the rage kind of going in. What was when you sat into your van after you'd achieved your apocalypse shop and drove home? What was your emotions like then? How used you feel on the drive home? Can you remember?
Right. So coming from me, like, it sounds a bit. I think it sounds a bit corny, like, but if you don't know me, it doesn't maybe. It's I don't know. Pause.
No, go on.
Right. So I was never into the, like, nationalism or the Ra or any of that kind of stuff, right? In fact, I probably wasn't into it because of the teaching, school teachers and all that kind of stuff, right? I hated school every day of it. But it took me 2 years to excommunicate myself from the Catholic Church, right, for my own personal reasons, but not from God. Right? So all I can say is that my soul is Irish, right? And I feel that connection, right? Don't ask me, because I didn't learn it, and we wasn't brought up with it. But when this happened, like, I was willing to die for it, right? So the music stopped me from throwing myself at it, right? Because we could all throw ourselves at what was coming, and it not stop it, right? And it's not stopping it now.
So it's about kind of. Do you feel it's about surviving, protecting? Like, do you know if?
No, it's my soul.
Yeah.
Right, for me, right. So it's a one man made religion.
No. I'm kind of with you.
And it's the same God as everybody else, only we don't know where he is and what he looks like, right, or she, or whatever. But right. So my philosophy is that there's this land is there's something to do with this land, and something to do with me connect to the land, my soul connect to the land, and it just broke my heart to see that we've lost it, like, right, and I think the vast majority have lost it, and I think it was a design. And Tom Sheridan was talking about like mind virus and all that kind of stuff, and through the jibby jabbies or whatever, the Neilcraft, that like that were after being invaded by aliens or whatever, right, or entities, right. So entities I can get into now big time if I want, because I enjoy that kind of stuff if it was dark enough, but as in the light. So my responsibility, right, to my soul is what my responsibility to my Irish soul. That's what it is. So before this anyway, I have to live correctly.
Yeah.
Right? I have to tell the truth. Right?
Of course.
Now if you ask me, no.
No, but I mean,
see, if you ask me something, right, and I don't want to answer it, that's not telling you a lie. I'll tell you, fuck off, mind your own business. But if I speak honestly. Right?
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Right, now, Matthias Desmet spoke about that himself, actually, and I thought that was interesting because, now, you know, I don't know, but he's gone Gandhi route.
Yeah.
What he said.
He's an interesting character.
Right? Yeah, but no, just what he said, not that's something on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, it was in a foreign land, but it was speak the truth, just keep speaking the truth. And so for me that means maybe a different thing than what he was talking about. But yeah, no, I'll speak the truth, like, and I'll say no, right? And I'm not afraid to say no. I'm not afraid to be alone, right? Because I'm not a lonely person, right? I have enough voice going on, inner dialogue, I suppose, right? Not voices now, not voices anymore, but I have an inner dialogue going on.
Yeah.
And if I want to bring that up and out, believe it or not, right, I could be having a full conversation, which is a conscious conversation, and I use John Waters as the we're having the conversation. It's very weird now.
Yeah.
And obviously that's only in recent last maybe 12 months or whatever. But it's very helpful for me, right? And it's because I trust them.
Yeah.
Right? And right, so there's the trust, right? I trust myself, right? And I have a responsibility to my soul, my Irish soul, to do what's right. So I stopped going to protests, right? I don't want to look at politics or any shit like that. I don't have television or radio anymore.
Just let me ask you a question on that. When you say about did that just become very pronounced and real to you during COVID, or was that something always in your life about your soul?
When I was a child, yeah, right. So when I was a child, I remember like stuff, right. So I remember stuff like and I remember how mature I was, like at a 5 and 6 year old child, right. And now I don't remember, like I just remembering, but around like how good a child I was, right. Now something happened to me, and it wasn't a sexual thing. Now I was a beating I got in school, right. When I was 6 or 7, when I just made my communion, I moved into the other school, and I think it was an experiment, right. We were lined up, 6 of us, I think, on the grass outside the monastery, right. Brother Blinky was his name, right. Now this only came to me in the last few years now, or very conscious of it. But I'll go into it anyway. Sorry about this drifting, but anyway, they lined us up. Just called out the class. Right? I was a real innocent boy at that time, right? And but there was people there in suits, right? So there was definitely two men and a woman, so I'm just there, like standing there, right? And the six of us are there, and I'm at the end. I think I'm the last one. We started the other end anyway, but I was last one, and with open hand, right, and clop full force, both sides of the head. The first child, the second child, the third child, right? So I knew it was coming, right? And I'm like, I wasn't even ever in a fight even at that stage, right? And my father was a very religious man, like, and everything else, right? And anyway, I got mine as turned me. And I just, like, when I look back and remember that the adults there, until I didn't recognise, this could be someone out the back, someone out of the Lions Club, I don't know the fuck, right? But the mixture of people that were in it, right? So I ended up maybe, I don't know, 6 months, a year later, getting a box in the face off the guy, Curly beside me, right? Who I know, and like a wild character. I bet the bollocks out of him, like down the strand. So he hit me on the bridge, right? And had to wait for me to be able to get me. That's how young I was, like in the 70s. Get me fucking the buckle had gone in the link on my back school bag, like trying to get it off before the fight started. But yeah, so there.
And when you say turned, do you mean that no one was ever going to do that to you again?
No one was going to teach me nothing, and I mean in school as well. Like. So, like in Sister and Ignace's class, right? So in first class, like I was like top of the class, I suppose, nearly. You know what I mean? I was getting the big. She used to have a jar with sweets.
I remember that.
Getting the big fucking sweets and whatever. I'd go on the rocking horse. Like that's how young we were. Like the rocking horse was in the room next door. Horse, rocking horse. Right? So you know you got reward, you got your stars and all that kind of stuff. Well, that was the end of that. Like, there was no more. Like you know. Getting into fights, getting bet up mostly. I'd not hit someone smaller than me. Couldn't find them. You know. So it turned me, and I never looked back. I won't go into it now. I'll tell you afterwards about meeting one of the teachers afterwards recently. And
did it bring it all up again?
Oh, it did.
I had the same experience with a teacher.
He was in the smoking room. Oh, yeah, no, I tell you, he had an aneurysm a week later. Broke his legs in the shower really at the same time. You know? I think I wrote it on your Substack anyway. So these happenings.
So tell me then, like you've.
So that turned me wild. Well, that's the connection I made to it. Come back, and then I met my first wife, and I like clean my act up in England anyway, and I was after like so. I was saving, and then got married. It's a good boy, and business just took me down a bit. And, you have to tell lies. You have to damage your soul, right? Now
just so people know, you've experienced the highs and the lows of having money, not having money, having property and all that. And they've been, from what I can gather, they've been highs, really high, and really low.
But in the highs, in the financial highs, that's when the real lows were. Like so, in happy in poverty is what I call myself. I'm happy in poverty. I am because so.
Well, you say that, but just so people know, because this is an audio, you've built a little kingdom here for yourselves. Like it's, how would you describe How would you describe the house we're in at the moment?
I'll show you. Well, I got a wedding present. This is how you can take a photograph of that. But it fell off the wall.
The Kellys' love shack. But suffice to say, you built this home we're in now.
Yeah, so
you have an outdoor kitchen. You have a 2-story glass house.
Yeah.
You have other sheds and other bits and pieces on maybe an acre and a half, 2 acres out here. But it's very I wouldn't describe it as It's like you're building your own little heaven here. It's not.
Yeah,
I wouldn't describe. You said happy in poverty, but
yeah.
it's happy in.
Yeah, no. When I say poverty, obviously it's my two fingers up to up to business. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I couldn't give a fuck what goes on out there. Like, I could make it. I could make it. Like, I mean, they're crying out for my type of thing.
Yeah, you're a steel fabricator, is it?
yeah. So I made a conscious decision. I gave my business away to a guy that was my foreman for 21 years. Gave him the phone, gave him machinery, got him set up, and he's never looked back. Like, he's, I think, 6 or 8 of the guys that served the time with me are working for him. Like, but no interest. I do enough. If I don't like you, I'll not work for you. Right. So if you're not a like-minded soul, I suppose. And I trust, and I get enough every time, and I get enough time then to make the dinner. With bacon and cabbage, bacon and sprouts from the garden, sorry, the other night, and mashed potatoes, like the proper Irish dinner.
And you've hens walking and waltzing around the outside here.
Roosters, cats, dogs, a horse in the field, not my field next door. It's not my horse, I want to feed it. But, we're blessed. We're blessed. Absolutely blessed. Yeah.
And look, you've gone in and out of it there, but like in this, the second question I'm hoping to get to people is where they were on their spiritual path or at during the COVID years of 2020 and 21, and kind of where they are now. But it sounds to me as that path had already begun for you a lot
after
sooner.
My father died, 2005. Right, so to say 2006, I went deeply into it. My mind was infected with, I nearly said demons, and I didn't think I was going to survive if I didn't work at it and get rid of it. So I just went at it, reading. I know from my writing it'd be hard to
No.
My reading and getting involved in psychic shit, which is dangerous.
Where did you find the first crumbs of something that were good? Do you know what I mean, or something you could build on?
Right, deep meditation. Right now, so I remember 2 occasions. Where hours now, I'm talking hours, right? In my previous house in the Sunroom. Hours. But I went into black space. I don't know if you can picture this, right? Completely black. Everything else was gone, like everything was gone. And so it's the deepest now I've ever gone, and it was very, very deep. It was like maybe you could nearly feel the black, right? So it wasn't water. I don't know what it was, but on the 2 occasions, one an alligator or a crocodile, a giant one now, came swimming towards me, and turned away, and not that there was a wave, but it was felt like a wave, right? Like it wasn't water, but it was space basically. But like I could see everything on it, right along, and I went on, right. But I was aware, right. So when you get to that level, I think, right, you've let go of thinking, right, and you're just observing. But I realized that I was being observed, also. Right? I can't explain it, and I let it go as well, right? Because that too you can get too deep into. And the second time was a whale, right? Now, so it came out through the black, the very, very same motion as the crocodile alligator, and came at me, nearly right up to me, and it was huge, and turned away again, right? And nice and gently, like, and disappeared into it, right? And now there's a few more occasions that did happen, but I can't remember them. They're the only 2 things that stuck out in my mind, that I was being observing that, right? So I'm not educated, not articulate.
You're articulate enough now.
But yeah, I know. But you know what I mean. To try and explain that, it's not somebody else's.
But you felt it
words,
was there was a kind of a divineness about what was going on.
Absolutely, I was in emptiness. Like that was like that's it now. Yeah, yeah, pure emptiness. It was pure. Pure, open, empty, and just this creature from depths or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Came into it. No, I don't know. But that wasn't what was significant. It was that I was being observed. I knew I was. I could feel I was being observed, and yet I was still able to stay in that space, right? While so I was right. So it's hard to explain. So I'm observing this without thinking about it, right? So I'm seeing it, so I can remember it, but I'm not thinking about it. If you think about it, you're always out of your meditation anyway. But I wasn't thinking about it, and I wasn't thinking about the observer, but I knew the observer was fucking there as well. Like I could feel the observer. Right, so that's my.
But that is in itself very profound when you think about it in the sense, because a lot of the, Eckhart Tolle and a lot of these people that, is the first step is to become an observer of your own thoughts, is one. But what you're talking about is a step beyond that. Is someone observing your kind of thoughts, because I'm a recovering alcoholic, as you know, and I've told you before.
An alcoholic. I love it. Go on.
But one of the I used to, there's pros and cons to everything, and but I remember when I would be recovering from drink, like with a hangover, I would get a period if I lie down the following day on a bed and close my eyes, where I could observe my thoughts like I was watching a television. Yeah. And they made what I was watching made no sense. Like other than it had no obvious relationship to anything in my life. Yeah. But it was, and that could last for half an hour, where I'd be just lying there looking at thoughts visually, but I never had the experience of what you said. Is this other level as to a consciousness that you're being observed, that a force may be a bad word, but like a divinity is watching you.
When I go all at it, I went deep. I'm very, very, very deep into the meditation, but now I meditate, but I meditate consciously with my thoughts, I don't care what anybody says, right? So I use tarot. Right.
Okay, go on, keep going. Yeah, no.
Right, so I use tarot to draw, right? So my regime would be awake maybe 3 o'clock in the morning, right? Which is the holy hour, not the witching hour. And I'd put the headlamp on, then maybe about 5:30, walk the dogs on the canal, right? Just down as far as the barrier where you down near the beach there. And they don't come with me, obviously, because they're lame, and so they'd wait for me, and I go down there, come back there. What I do is I turn what's called a wisdom card. I just turn a card, right, and I send it out to some people, like family and that kind of stuff, yourself. But and sometimes it resonates with people, and sometimes it doesn't. It doesn't matter. Like, in fact, I had one friend block me because even the notion of spirituality, I suppose, was like fucking horrendous. And then I do a 10 spread tarot reading along with it, right? So say this morning was goals, right? So that would get me triggering then, if that's the right word, to then the 10 card spread, right? Which is, so it goes from right to left. You've got a recent past, your present, your intuition, your strength, communication with others. I find that one hard. Soul card, destiny, my will of the universe, and will of the divine, of God, right? And so you get something and there's connection, and so what you're doing is you're letting what I'm doing, is I'm letting them cards bring up something with, if they're in what position they're in, say say I get the Fool, right? Now, right, so I don't use the book or anybody else's kind of interpretation, apart from maybe Carl Jung's that of symbols, like, right? So say I get in the God position or the divine position, right? The Fool.
Yeah.
Right. So now, the Fool to me is a guy standing on the precipice of a fucking valley, right? With a little bag over his shoulder, like a stick on a stick, head up in the air, not looking, like whatever. What that represents to me is that I'm going into the pit, into the valley, right? So I'm going to have disturbances, right? But that, you know, like, so it's telling me, look, you know, you're going into whatever, maybe, how do I explain it? Maybe it's emotional or spiritual or whatever, right?
Turbulence.
Yeah. But you know what, at this stage, it kind of says to me, you know what's happening. You know what's happening. You know, you go down into the valley and you're going to come back out, and you're going to learn something. So when I see that card, kind of sometimes I kind of go, oh, fuck's sake.
Yeah, I don't feel like learning anything.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It depends on where it's at.
But you definitely obviously find it like a kind of I said it to you earlier when we were talking about this. It's like a tool to access, you know, your divine purpose. Or
it's to try and tap deeper into myself without having to go through the like a day or 2 days of fucking meditating. And the ayahuasca and the shit, and you know, that's bullshit, I think. But now, I'm wrong in saying that, because I don't do it. Like I like you give me a vodka and Red Bull, like, and sure, you shoot somebody else up with heroin, I'm madder like than they are, or maybe not heroin, something, some hyper drug, like.
Yeah.
So I can't say like.
It works for you.
This works for me. It's early in the morning. I have prepared myself through the walk. Yeah, I'm here on my own. It's silent, and when I do it, so I don't do anything else. So I know what I'm doing. I lie in bed and I do my thinking. I get up, go do my walk, do my spray, and then I think about everything that's about to be made or whatever. Like, and yeah, so it's for me. Like, it's just for me. It's like it's not a coping mechanism either. No, this is to try and develop myself spiritually, and so it's really, a lot of it is about integrity, my integrity.
Yeah.
Right. No, I was a cunt.
You see, I think we were both similar type of cunt. That's why we're probably get on so well.
1 or 2 legs, walking. Yeah.
Do you find your because I'm the same as you, integrity and truth is like you know, there's things there's, you know, the writing for me is that almost a bit like the tarot, in the sense of trying to dig a bit deeper, and there's still lots of stuff I don't want to address about myself, but it's kind of, you're hoping bit by bit that you get there. One of the things is that I wanted to ask you there, just to raise this, do you think in terms of energy of people, of places, you know, you spoke about the Irish soul and stuff, do you find that what type of people are you drawn to over the last, you know, while, and did COVID have any impact in that, or did you notice that the people you were drawn to, we'll say in the COVID years and after, had any similarities in that regard, or not?
Like,
or were there many false dawns?
You know, they say like-minded souls and whatever, right? So, like, myself and my wife doing that, I'm not sure her name.
Well, I have a theory on that, and it's funny you say John Waters, because I have a theory that a man, you can tell how good a relationship is a man has with his wife by how early he introduces his wife in a conversation. Oh. And you introduced yours in about a minute.
Yeah, but I introduced the two of them.
Yeah. No, you said my wife there on something on the end.
Yeah, two very good.
But you have a good relationship with we discussed that. Yeah,
absolutely, right. So So like-minded soul, we are. And I was at a loss after that. Not that, you see, right, so I don't get lonely. I don't get, I don't need to have the need for company.
The
Right?
same.
I'm constantly busy in a dialogue. Like, I mean, and it's not like, it's not a mad thing. It's like, it doesn't even come to my brain. Like, right, so I could be walking in the yard getting a bit of a lump of steel or whatever, and I'd be nodding, right? Now, the whatever came from, say, my stomach, didn't reach the brain, so I'm nodding without the conversation. If that,
Yeah.
right, so I use John then to bring it further to where I'm able to have the head dialogue. But Two the Dannon saved my thoughts about humanity, right? Because we had benches down there, and it became bench talk. And for 3 days, I met so many people that I could talk to, right? Because I don't want to talk about anything else. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I don't want to talk about football, rugby, or what fucking film.
Yeah, I haven't been to the cinema and I don't know when. Yeah.
Right, so there was like literally there's nobody. Like, I mean, there's nobody, that I can have a proper conversation with. And so the Two at the Dannon then was like, I was nervous going down there because if it was the other way, like, I'd be a pup, like I'd be bold in that sense. You know, I don't, or I'd go home, like I'd say or do something to wind it up. I'd go then to my tent, I'd eat myself, I'd get up before anyone else is up the next morning, tent to be gone, Serena don't understand, my wife don't understand, and I'd have to go home. So put me back in the fucking compound, right? But that didn't happen. And people listened to me and I listened to them. And that fucking didn't happen in years, right? And because I was surrounding myself with the wrong people, as it turns out, right? And vice versa for them, obviously.
Yeah.
And that happened Friday, fucking happened Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, Sunday. I didn't want to leave. I never hang around. I was there. There was only 2 others, I think, there, sitting on the bench chatting, and you obviously running around. I said, no, I better go home. Like, whatever, 8 or 9 o'clock Sunday night. Like, and we'd work the next day or whatever. I think, or was it a Monday?
It was Monday.
Was it a bank holiday?
No. It wasn't. It was the weekend before the bank holiday.
It was Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah, so Sunday evening.
Sunday evening.
And we did whatever 2 hour or thereabouts journey back home. And we were like, 2 of us were moved very much by it, right? And we're different people now in the way we talk. Like. But it was like, I think it was pure silence on the way home. Like, and for I don't know how long, but I went back on some of the messages or comments I made on some of the things. Definitely went down for a month, 6 weeks.
Wow.
The power of it, and that's like-minded souls, you know, dancing together. I suppose if you like. That's it was a powerful thing, and I haven't experienced it since. Like, I mean, okay, I went to Clonmacnoise, right? I wasn't ready for that anyway.
I don't think,
my feet were killing me. I was probably toes going black, and I was at my sister's wedding the night before, so I was going over. And
no, that was kind of
fantastic.
That was a kind of an experiment for me more than anything, and because kind of like you, like I don't really spend any time with anybody that isn't, I don't know what you say, wavelength or energy. It's more energy. It's almost, you can feel it for people, and it's like you said, but it's like you say, it's nothing to do with good or bad really. It's just what makes you sing and what doesn't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I suppose there was a bit of the for me personally, the giving up alcohol was a thing. It made me conscious of that. Oh yeah, I'm trying to run around people that it's like don't even if you climb that wall, you wouldn't want to be in there anyway.
Yeah.
But you spend all your time trying to like almost knock on that door, and you're so, what you do come to the point: what the fuck am I knocking on this? This is the wrong door.
Yeah. It takes a bit of courage then to just like say, let it go. And if, like for me, like I'm like I'm a cunt, but I'm happy though. You know?
I'm working on a theory that Ireland is split up to the people that are cunts and the people that are pricks. And unfortunately, it's going to take the cunts to get rid of the pricks.
Something. Well, I had something like years ago, and I mean years ago when, you see, when I had money, right? Well, now I gave it away voluntarily, right? So it's, well,
It's funny
we
because
gave a lot of it to the revenue, well, not voluntarily, and
under protest.
In the bank actually, but the like 2008, I think it was. And I had, before I cut the plug off the radio in the workshop, and news talk, that guy come on at 7 o'clock, whatever it was, 6 o'clock, it was late in the evening anyway, because my good wife would have been working. But was going around saying to people, you know, the good people are going to get us killed.
Yeah.
Right? And I didn't really know what I was saying, but boy, just did that sound come true, like in 2020, 2021, 2022. And it's going to come again, like, but they're going to be worse. That's my opinion, though, obviously. In my opinion, as Richie Allen would say.
It's a good way of putting it, because I think it speaks back to your talk about having an Irish soul.
Yeah.
It's that these ideologies, let's put it that way, that are inverted commas good, are short circuiting our pathways to the soul that we're carrying through the generations in this land, and that is leading us down all sorts of.
What's to come? Like, is, you know, look, I can get very dark, like, but I'm not afraid of it. Like, I mean, but like I had a conversation with some people yesterday, and I got dark and it was fucked, like, about what was coming. No, they're wide awake, very conscious of what's going on. I did feel bad after it though, because I didn't say it because I want to be right or whatever. It just flowed out of me, and when after thinking about it, you know, I don't, like mentally, spiritually, I can handle that kind of stuff. Like, I've been playing with that for a long time. Like,
I think you're like a lot of people, and I'm not this good at, like, I'm not even that good. I'm not as good at all as people like you. Is that I think it comes from a place is that you care what happens to these people, and that's why it's flowing out of you. That they're, you know, and I do have it to a degree, but I'd be nearly of the opinion is that you nearly have to show them how to, you know. I'd say if you brought 10 people in here and you spent 2 hours with you like we spent there this morning, we're walking along the canal, go through the glass house into the kitchen, you know, your ideas, your plans, and how you're living your life, I'd be like, I'd struggle to think of anyone who wouldn't come away from that experience at least saying, God, do I really want to live in a 3-bedroom semi, paying €1,400 a month with 200 other people crammed in around me? Look what, like, I think that isn't. I think the way you're living here is inspiring.
It's simple. It's simple, and it's the only way I can do it. Like, I mean, right? So I had 50 men working for me, last millions, but. Right, so the reason I made the change, and I made the change, like I've done it twice, and I have opportunities there that I'm refusing to entertain. And the reason is that I don't trust myself.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Right?
I can't.
I don't trust myself to be successful. I mean,
don't trust myself in the environment.
I don't trust myself to be as conscious of my being. Huh?
You're afraid of corrupting yourself?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd be the same.
Right? So it's like there's a cage inside me, right? This is where I picture it. Like a cowboy scene, and the guys are in the jail with bars and that kind of thing. And the demons are all in there. Yeah. Right? And you know, the only way that door can open is if I falter. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've had a period in my life where the door was wide open. All of it. And I mean, I was sitting on my shoulder, on my back, on my head, in my heart, right? And like it was like the corruption. Right. So if I hadn't been such a good child, right, so up to that point of blinky baiting, I wouldn't have a knowledge of somewhere to go back to, if that makes any sense. Somewhere to go back to start to. I corrupted myself so much that my soul's voice was like a whisper below all the other hateful voices. And I mean, when I say voices, I mean voices. So if I was to go to a psychiatrist or a doctor, I'd fuck his head up for a start. But if I was to go to him, they probably would have put me in Carlo. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because they would have said that, you're schizophrenic maybe or whatever. Mm-hmm. I know because I've seen spirits, right? I've had experience with close encounter with the devil, if you want to call it that way. Mm-hmm. I told you that story. And I told you how it ended up years later, which is fantastic. Rest in peace. And
Jesus.
But so that door is there. Like, so if I went and got drunk, say, right? Now I drink, but if I got drunk, it nearly happened at Christmas. I went to my old local. There was a reporter there that would be known by J. John, and I know, and like I was a fraction from going balubas, right? And I was trying to mind myself. You can't mind yourself if you're getting drunk.
No, if you're under the influence consistently.
I could have got destroyed, or destroyed something. It took me an awful long time for me to recover for what my soul had done. I don't mean violence, don't get me wrong.
No, but you're doing...
I have to be so true, so honest, and so...
Because you're almost trying to do something where there's no coming back from. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like, when you say the whisper of your soul there, it's almost like you're putting yourself in an environment where something could happen, where there's nothing coming, you're not going to be able to live with it. And when you come, I've come close to that. I've come close to that line, or stood in that line, and it's like you also get a awareness of, there's people like me who have, if I'm being kind to myself, I'll say it wasn't my intention to go to the place I went to, but I got there. Whether I meant it or I didn't, I got there. But you also are aware of the people who fully intend to hang out in that area. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That their full intention. It's not an accident they're there.
Yeah.
So I like, one of the things I do think, especially kind of, people like you, and there's a few others around, where they've been to some dark places. The learning is you also get an understanding of the type of character that hangs out down there, and to fucking, you don't want to be anywhere near them.
But you see, a lot of them characters, I would say, are there's a new language, there's a new dress code in that department. I'm trying to think of some right way of saying it. Is there anything in it?
I'm going to keep going.
So, do you know this? So I gave up on language, words, a good while ago. when they were all being twisted, like, you know, like one word I'm still confused about is like, because I am one, individual. Like, you know, there's people going like, to be an individual is like to be a fucking communist or some fucking bullshit. I don't know what individual is bad anyway, and I say, fuck you, I'm an individual anyway. They didn't make two of me, thank God, but they're passive aggressive. That's what I was trying to get at, right? So I noticed, like, when I used to go to the pub, like, and when things started to change, it was changing, like, in the 2000s, near the end of 2010 or whatever. And, you know, people would be saying stuff to you, they're like calling you a cunt, like, but doing it in a nice, friendly, smiling, and everyone's like nice, nice go, what the fuck do you mean? You know? I don't be able to tell you. Like, what's that word fucking mean? And they won't be able to tell you. Or they'd say something to you like that, like, and so they're all doing that. And I say, you go bite my fucking bollocks, right? And the reason I say that, and I know I use a lot of what we call curse words, bad language, because they had captured the fucking words, they had captured the language, right? So I couldn't win because I had no education, right? So they're using like, they're using words, and they're like the Americans, no offense to you, like, but they use passive aggression, right? They smile and say nice words and everything else. What they're actually saying is, like, so they're asking you to do something. What they're actually telling is telling you to do something, right? And you've no way of like reacting to that because they're so friendly about it, right? Like, so kill you with a smile or whatever it is, right? In that language. And I went just straight back to bad language.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying there, because I'd say we're both naturally we'd react to that. But if you strip away a passive aggressive part, like if you strip them out, if you kind of call them out in it, the aggression that's underneath that is volcanic. Like.
Yeah, whereas I'm getting it out by saying, go fuck yourself. Yeah. And they're like, they can't do anything because they're in.
Because then they have to show who they really they have to show who they really are, and they don't really.
Persona, here comes out an actor. Like. No offense to the knackers either, because like, the hate crime the law is not with Jet, is it?
Jeff.
And knackers anyway is somebody that kills horses, isn't it? But yeah, so that's me.
So where are you at today? We'll round this up.
Yeah.
There's let me see.
I'm looking forward to a glass of wine at 5 o'clock.
Ready for it after this. We're going an hour. Everybody just be worrying, what should we talk about? And the conversations always kind of speed by. Well, where would you say you are today, Richard, in terms of just the spiritual work you're doing? You seem to me like you're very despite what you say, you are very kind of good at explaining yourself, I think, and you spend it seems to me you spend a lot of time working on yourself and are very conscious of the things you need to work on. Would that be fair?
Well, I suppose so if I have, because I was thinking about this, if I have a philosophy, it's that a spiritual philosophy, if that's such a thing, I'm responsible for my soul. Right?
Yeah, that's good. I like this.
And so my actions either benefit or not my soul. I can't go wrong, right? If I'm conscious of that, right? Like, I can't go wrong, like, because, in my opinion, if there's no God, at the end of the day, like when I pop
it's win-win.
Well, what can I do wrong? Like, I'm growing organically, right? I don't tolerate bullshit. I'm not afraid of sin, right? I'm conscious that I have a responsibility to my soul, and even like so, when I'm speaking or when I'm conscious, like that, and I don't know where it goes, but like the ripple effect, right? We read that book years ago. I can't remember, but I remember the ripple, right? So if I put a comment on your thing, right? I think about it, or especially, no offense to anyone, but especially I get up early on Saturday morning for the weekly one with John, right?
Yeah.
And like I was very, very nervous going into that. Well, I'm writing to send it out to the ether. It's the only outlet I have is yourself, John, and a few others, right? I don't write on podcasts or anything like that. I'm not interested in small chat, like in small sentences. And okay, I know actibolics.
No, but I do believe
but
that
the soul is the key.
There's an energetic. There is like stuff like that does encapsulate an energy, and it can be a good energy, or do you know what I mean?
Hopefully.
Yeah,
I mean, because it's all I can do basically. Yeah. Right. So to save Ireland, the very soul is to be conscious of my soul, because see, so I can only do one bit, right? So I don't want to die, right? And some fucker put, he was a great worker on my fucking headstone, right? I'd rather him put walking cunt lies here, yeah. Or, you know, so what I want to do is leave something behind, right? Not the land, like as in not monetary. I want it, and not even known. Right, so we all have a moment. This is my belief, my own way of belief, that we have a moment. I don't want to miss my moment.
And you're also leaving traces of your soul everywhere. Like your soul goes on forever, I hope. But you know, it's kind of you're sprinkling parts of your soul around as well. Like even like very conscious of it being here today as well. So no, I think it's a very good way of looking at it, and
it's pretty simple, although.
Yeah, I like simple.
Well, I like simple as well, because I mean, like I can go God mad either. Like, and I use that word because, like, it's a mystery.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And what I love about this mystery is nobody else fucking knows either. I don't care if you're the Pope, the Buddha, the fucking whoever. If you tell me, like, right, and there's one person I'm thinking in particular that's a lovely person and very good at certain things, like certain things. But when the matter of fact stuff comes out, I have to turn it off, right? No, I turn it back on, like, not that bit though, because how do we know?
Yeah.
It's an impossibility. It's a mystery. We can speculate, and we can as best we can attune to something. And if we feel that we're in tune to something, well, it's I'm going to use a big word there. It's not benevolent. It's not that, right? It's benevolent, right? And you have to be benevolent to it. It doesn't mean I have to speak correctly.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It doesn't mean that you can't say cunt. Oops, God's going to punish you, right? So I can't do that. And like if I ever had any doubts about turning away from, say, now I don't know what I am. I'd love to go back thousands of years and see what at Plato's time, or the Greek time, what our beliefs were in Ireland, like, and how did we operate with our soul and with our spirituality then? Because I'd like to go back there.
I'd say we'd be quite shocked and surprised as to some of that stuff.
Yeah. So, but I doubt we're eating babies, like, but. You know,
no, but I'd say we'd be shocked and surprised about the knowledge that existed and how advanced we probably were spiritually, not in all ways, but it must probably.
Well, Alexander Dugin, I listened to a little bit of him trying to learn philosophy, just a little bit now, but he says we're at the end of the end, right? So coming to the beginning of the beginning. The end started back at Plato's time. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
It's interesting, like. So we're talking about, yes, we have got more fucking stupid. Like, and we're coming to the end of stupidity. Like, we're coming to the ultimate peak of stupidity. And we can see it. Like,
you can see it, you can see it everywhere you look. Like, it's almost like, to use the description of, we're almost observers of this mind, this kind of devilish mind, where our stupid mind, where it brings you. But the way I feel is like, right, I'm not going to try to jump into that mind to try and fix it. I'm just going to kind of.
It's tempting though, but
it's tempting, and I consistently fail at it. If consistently don't resist the temptation, but when I do, it's almost like you're observing something beyond you. Like, it's like what are those? who are those entities like,
Yeah,
or those
no
people
turning
like?
back. There's no turning back. No turning them, basically.
There's no, and you know, the way I'd be at it now is like if you can't see it now, you
What
know,
they're going to be.
we'll leave. I'll leave. I don't mind leaving some a trail for you to catch up at some point. But you know, I'm not
No,
hanging
it's
around for you.
the mind virus, like Thomas heard it. No, it's a lost cause, I think. And so if I was to put like the Alexander Duke in the end of the end, like is coming. Well, you know, you picture the lemmings all just going over the cliff. Like really, I know that didn't really happen, but that analogy, whatever it is, and that's I think where we're at. Like, but yeah, I don't know. Like like where they're planting everybody, the new people, males like that as well. Like you know, there's something now. Like,
Oh, we're
coming.
like there's something. There's
Someday,
something. We're in the middle of something going on,
yeah,
and
whatever it be,
but I like the idea of trying to keep and grow. It's this idea you have of the Irish soul. I've never thought of it specific. I like soul worker and all that, but I like the way you framed it. There's the Irish soul,
yeah,
and I think that is the expansion of that. I don't know if you can expand these things, but like
I don't know. I mean, because it's not. It's like for me, it was like as I say, no politics, no anything, no anything before, like you know, not even a football club or anything. So that's but like so it's the only way you can explain your feeling and your passion and your connection to the. Like I'm like I shouldn't even be a welder. Like, do you know what I mean? Not even a path that I would have taken. Like, do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's look. I'm not a gardener either. That's what I was going to say. Like so, the fuck's idea was to build a two-story glasshouse.
yeah, it was a beautiful glass house.
But that's following intuition, right? That's really what it is, right? So when I went into hyper alert, like I have a 4-foot bill hook beside my bed there, I have a baseball bat on the other side, and that's for 2 levels. One is in the yard to get a baseball bat. Someone comes through my door, they get their head cut off. Simple. God bless them. But that's because so don't give me a gun. So I'm not looking for a gun, like because you know, like because what's coming really is what I'm talking about. Like it's I'm heading towards 60. Do you know? When I was 50, it was like chest was out and it was like, man, right? Because I thought they were coming. You know. I actually thought like like you know like I was watching the military watching the army and doing a lot of activity like you know they're not going to so that priest or that Christian brother do me a favor, right? He turned a small little fella into a man, right? So I should really thank the cunt. But I won't. Like.
Have you been able to forgive him?
I don't do that. Like,
or do you do that?
No. No. Like I mean, I shocked the fuck out of the teacher. And probably to the point that he had the aneurysm and recovered. He wanted to beat me like in the smoking room, you know. Because who are you, young fella, or young fella? But did I teach you? Shouldn't have asked me that question. I just like he used to lie us up. Like I wouldn't do my homework. You see, I wouldn't do any of that. And these small fucking hands, they can take a bit. He used to fucking clobber. So I was trying to remember because I knew this was going to come up, and I was trying to remember how often was I up along the thing for not being able to spell something or not being able to do anything, something or not doing my homework. And there'd always be a lot of items, like, you know what I mean? And the cane, stick to be out, like, right? And sometimes you come back up from underneath and catch you under the knuckles as well, like, especially if you're like me, I can take pain, right? And And Noel, a friend of mine, right, he shot himself, he was a big hardy buck, and I mean big hardy buck. Like, he used to beat me up when we'd be out in the green, right? And I'd run home crying, like, right? And he'd a man's voice, like, at 7 years of age. He'd be at the back door, and when mother would go out and, "Oh, you're after beating the shit out of Richard. He's not going out to play with." Mrs. Kelly. Mrs. Kelly. So I was only playing with him, you know? So he was a real tough character. But it shocked me one day when I seen him crying.
Yeah.
After getting fucking 6 of the best.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, come on.
There was, and they took a pleasure, like,
Yes.
they took a pleasure in it too, like, do you know what I mean?
And a lot of politicians up there. I actually did write a comment on Grip last week. I was looking at, what is that guy? What's that guy? And he's got a lisp. Dunno.
Oh, right, yeah, Pascal.
Oh my God. If he was back in the 70s, he would just, I put it in, I wrote it down, because that's what I could see. He would have been one of those teachers. He would have been a vicious bastard, I'd say. And so he's vicious now, right? Because he's got permission to be.
Yeah, but this dichotomy being almost saintly in public persona, but this kind of
sinister, you can see it in him. Yeah. So
that's why, like, I do think that they did get, like, a certain percentage of them. There were a certain type of character up to COVID, but when they got ultimate power, then it activated something deep.
Yeah, they're fools, like, they're idiots. And, oh, look, I don't want to go into.
No, well, like, I do think I think there's a price to be paid for it, and I think you can almost see it in some of them. Yeah, I can see it in Varadkar. I can see that he looks almost like he's fading. Do you know what I mean?
The demon's eating the horse.
Yeah, it's almost like that.
Yeah.
So I don't really worry. I used to, like, 2 years ago. It's like the path you're on. You think you have to take these down. You have to take these guys down.
Yeah.
These guys are almost like they're almost whatever, if you want to call it, demons. They're almost finished with the host here.
Yeah. What that means, though, I don't know. Like, but yeah. Like, I mean,
I don't know what it means either. But
yeah. So I kind of like I used to go protesting. I don't do it anymore. I won't do it anymore. But anyone who wants to go, like, walk away, fair play.
I'm more or less I'm more or less with you there. Like, I do. I enjoy going to protests just to meet the people. Yeah. Anyone I hear speaking, or not everyone, a lot, they don't resonate. They're not resonating with me. That doesn't mean they're good, bad, or indifferent. But I do think, like, a lot of people, like us, have faith in that can bring about change. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, okay.
Just realised. Oh yeah. Not to worry. I don't give a fuck, to be honest. But yeah, no, sorry for interrupting you.
No, you're
I just realised it. So,
no, sure, look, we'll finish it up there.
I don't go lay down after that.
No, don't. Hopefully now you don't have to go into a hyperbaric chamber for a week, but
that was fantastic.
Thanks a million. Not expecting that at all.